Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to another video. It's already time to talk about my February TBR. So let's talk about all the books I plan to read in February. But this time it's not quite as easy as the January TBR because in January, I kind of knew exactly what I was going to read. I did wind up picking up a few extra books, but I pretty much read or DNF'd everything on my original list. But this time, I have a few core books that I'm for sure going to read, a couple like maybe books, and then just a huge pile to choose from after that. Let's do the books that I'm for sure going to read first. I am for sure, 100%, no questions asked, going to read Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun by El Casamano, I think is how you say it. And the reason I'm for sure going to read this is because, one, it comes out at the end of January. I think like January 31st or something, like the last day of January. And I loved the first two books. The first one was like amazing. The second one wasn't quite as good, but I have pretty high hopes for this third one because it is about an author turned like assassin, basically, like hit woman. And she kind of gets dragged into it, and there's always like crazy hijinks. It's funny. I mean, it's very clever too, and I loved it. So the third one comes out here at the end of January, and I've got the audiobook ready. Yeah, I should be getting it here in just a couple weeks, so I will definitely be reading this third one. And Books and Lala, Kayla from that channel, she does her buzzword-a-thon challenge where you have to, there's a buzzword for every single month. And so for this month, it is verbs. So you have to read a book with a verb in the title. So obviously jumps is a verb. So, you know, it's kind of hard to find books with not hard, but like harder than you would think to find books with verbs in the title because a lot of them don't have like full sentences. So therefore they don't have verbs. But anyway, I will be reading this book. I will also be reading 100% for sure A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. So I've read two T. Kingfisher books so far. I read The Hollow Places, which wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, but like it was fine. But then I also read Nettle and Bone, which I absolutely loved. It was so, so good. This one, I don't quite know what to expect, like cozy fantasy, but maybe a little higher stakes than something like Legends and Lattes, because I think it literally starts with like a murder that's happened or something. I don't know, but it sounds really cute and I'm totally gonna read it. The next book that I'm 100% for sure going to read, physically this time, is Atomic Habits by James Clear, because this book has been obviously very popular for a couple of years now. It's decently short. It's a good for start of the year kind of read, like New Year's resolutions and all that. But I'm doing this for a vlog because, spoiler alert, I pick at the sides of my fingers, like really, really badly. Not my fingernails, but like my actual skin. So I'm gonna see if I can break that habit. Will this book actually help me? Watch the vlog and we'll find out. Another book that I'm 100% for sure going to be reading is Belladonna, and I honestly can't remember the author's name, but this book, I'd heard of it, I've seen other people read it, and I hear a lot about it on BookTube, and I'm like, oh, this cover reminds me of like House of Hollow. I feel like a lot of covers looked like this, and I think that's one reason I wasn't tempted to pick it up, is just because it didn't look super unique or anything. But I just recently heard from somebody, they described it as Lucifer, the TV show Lucifer, which I absolutely loved, kind of meets like fantasy. I mean, Lucifer's fantasy anyway, but basically like a girl goes on adventures solving crimes with death instead of like the devil, which is what Lucifer's about. But in this case, it's death himself is going to go solve crimes with this girl. And that sounds amazing. And apparently there's going to be a sequel. So, and it comes out like later this year. So I'm going to 100% read this. In fact, I'm hopefully going to start it like even but technically before February because I just want to read it so badly. I think the fifth and final book that I'm going to for sure read in February, I don't remember if I've said the right month. Did I say January last time? I can't remember. In February, I'm going to read Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I don't know what this book's about. I don't remember. I just know two things. One, it's really short, like super, super short. So I'm going to get the audiobook. It's like 5 hours long. I can listen to that in like 2.5 hours and knock this thing out. And two, I've heard a lot about Jeff Vandermeer, and it's like sci-fi, but like weird, like real weird sci-fi. And I loved The Library at Mount Char last month. It was like one of my favorite books now of all time. And I've realized I like real weird stuff. So if this is also described as really weird, then I mean, I have decently high hopes for it now. So those are all the books I'm for sure going to read. Now, the one I'm probably going to try to get to is The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's the fourth and final book in a series. I've read the first three, but I've really spaced them out over like almost 2 years now. The first, was it been 2 years? Maybe a year. Yeah, I think I lied. I think it's only been a year. But the first one, Sinless of Sins, I thought was fine. It didn't quite meet my expectations. It was like 3.5 stars, maybe even 3 now that I think about it. But I loved book 2, and that's the only reason I'm continuing on is because of how much I loved book 2. It was wonderful. One of the best executed books I've ever read, especially when it comes to fantasy. Just the storytelling was so amazing. It was so interesting and so unique and so weird, honestly. I think that's why I only gave it 4.5 stars instead of 5, was just because it was almost maybe even too weird. Book 3 was actually disappointing and I only gave it 2 stars. Book 4 I hear is not as good, which I'm really scared because everybody else loved book 3 and I did not. So I don't know if that means I'm going to really hate book 4 or maybe I'll actually kind of like it. Anyway, this book is massive. They just keep getting longer and longer, but I own it and I also have the audiobook. So we're going to see if I can power through and just finish this whole series. I really want to work on finishing series this year, and this is one that needs to get done. Now, after that, it's all up in the air. That's already, what, like 6 books or something already. So, I mean, the chances of me getting to any more, especially in a short month, are probably not great. But if I do have time to get any more in, I'm going to read The Joy of Work by Marie Kondo, because I have the audiobook coming to me here in about a week or two. I've got it on hold, and this book is one of the ones in the series that she wrote, and I already read the you know, what's it called, The Art of Tidying Up, or what's it called, The Magic of Tidying Up, Decluttering the Japanese Art of, I don't know. There's a lot of words in the other title. I did a review of it even, but the title's too long. Anyway, I really enjoyed it, but I want to apply, and I was already kind of applying the principles of it to work, but I didn't realize that she had one about work until somebody told me, and I was like, what? There are sequels to that book? So this is one of the sequels, and I'm going to see how in the world I can work on tidying up my workspace. I'm also hoping to read All Systems Red by Martha Wells. It's the first in the Murderbot series, and all I know is that it's something about an AI who is obviously designed to be a murder bot, but apparently all he wants to do is sit around and watch soap operas. Maybe he's also sarcastic, potentially, but it's a novella. It's really short, and I own it now, so I could read the listen to the audiobook or read it physically, but I hear really good things about the whole series, and I have students who are really enjoying it. I might even order more for the library. I ordered book 2 for the library, but if I like it, I might even order more. After that, it's just up in the air. In fact, I'm thinking about editing Megan here, that I'm not going to want to put all these pictures in. So I'm just going to name off some other things I might want to read. I might want to read The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Morena Garcia, because I have it on hold from the library and it should be coming in soon. Oh, The Book Eaters, that sounded really interesting and I've been wanting to read it. Come Closer by Sarah Gran, only because I also read The Book of the Most Precious Substance by her, and I hear that this one's more like really actually scary, so I kind of want to read that. Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the second book in the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I might want to read A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. That's the second in that Monk and Robot series. I might pick that one up because it's short. That one and the Wayward Children series, they're all novellas. After that, who's to say? There's other items on the list that I want to read, but if I get to at least the ones I really want to read, and then maybe I'll surprise myself with some other ones, because inevitably I'll be DNFing some of these books, because that's what I always do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought about them, and we will see how many I get to. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye.